been given the bye into the next round, so we're just going to go on time qualifiers as we did with the 100s yesterday and the 400s. That's the competition format here at the Commonwealth Games.
Athletes out on the track then for this first of 6 heats in the women's 200 metres. There's Beyonce de Freitas of the British Virgin Islands. Went out in the heats of the 100 here, twice their national champion. Trinidad and Tobago's Reese Webster, she too went out in the heats here. 23.05 for Besto, and that was this year. She ran that back in April, late April, in the USA where she's at college, the 24-year-old. So Alison Bell of Scotland goes in lane 2. She's a 23.01 performer. That from last year in 3 there. Bell to the right of picture, top right of picture. Webster of Trinidad and Tobago goes in 3. Then the Maldives Ziva Musa goes in lane 4. She too went out in the 100 heats, but and a personal best. Natasha Chetty of Seychelles. She likewise another athlete who exited the competition from the 100 heats. So we are starting from the outside. There's Beyonce de Freitas we saw on the outside. Issatu Sey of Gambia goes in lane 7. Disqualified from the African Championship 200 final back in May. Abigail Paulet, better known perhaps as a heptathlete. She's the Welsh athlete, goes in lane 6. There's a nice lane draw, 23.01. Hasn't run a 200 this year. There's Chetty, Natasha Chetty of the Seychelles. Went out in qualifying in the Commonwealth Games high jump back in 2022. Ziva Musa of Maldives. As I said, by her standards, a good 100, but she went down the heats here. Reese Webster of Trinidad and Tobago, second in her heat in 11.63 in the heats of the 100 where she went out. She has run 23.05, and Alison Bell of Scotland, listen to this. Good crowd here on the 2 bends. Runs for Giffnock North Athletics Club and attended Edinburgh University, did Alison Bell. She shared a flat actually with fellow Scottish international, a certain Megan Keith, who ran the 10,000 a couple of nights ago, and triathlete Isla Britton. So Beyonce de Freitas on the outside.
Hello everyone, welcome back once again. I really hope you're doing fine wherever you are. If it is for the first time I come across my video, I humbly request don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. And today we are breaking down one of the most exciting events from the 2026 Commonwealth Games, the women 200-meter heat. This was more than just a qualifying round because every athlete had one mission: run fast enough to secure a place in the semi-finals. With only time qualifier advancing, there was absolutely no room for mistake. Jamaica came into this event with huge expectation, and once again the sprinter showed why they remain one of the strongest sprint nation in the world. But they weren't the only athletics making headlines. Australia, Kenya, Scotland, Singapore and several other nations produced impressive performances that made these heats highly competitive. So guys, let's watch this clip to the end, and I'll be back with more comments.
Finalist in the 200s 4 years ago in Birmingham. Just needs to negotiate this first heat of 6 in the women's 200 metres from lane 8. They settle into their blocks now. The top 17-time qualifiers go through from these 6 heats. Nobody guaranteed a spot in the next round in the semi-finals, although really good running from the 2 on the outside. Say of Gambia and de Freitas on the outside of British Virgin Islands. Good running too from Bell on the inside for Scotland in lane 2. She's working harder up against Webster, having a little battle against the Trinidad and Tobago athlete. Really good running on the outside. De Freitas coming here is going to take this from Bell. That's 1, 2 and 3 there in lane 7 is Say for Gambia. Winning time 23.25. Well, de Freitas has gone a little bit quicker than that, but it was a nice win nonetheless. Just waiting for that time to be confirmed. It is 23.25. Bell, 23.38 in second place. That is a season's best for her. Really good from a tight bend in lane 2. She eased away from Webster, the Trinidad and Tobago athlete, very comfortably. Say was third, of course, out in lane 3. She ran 23.76. That for her is a huge season's best and not far off her lifetime best. But none of these athletes can There it is, De Freitas and Bell, 1 and 2. But Say, who we thought was third, has been disqualified. That's really sad. It must be for stepping on the line to the left of her lane, the inside of her lane, on the bend. Really disappointing that for Say. Oh, what a shame for the Gambian.
Here's a look at the 8 women going in the second heat. Mia Gross, one to watch for Australia there, the Oceanic champion this year. But starting on the outside, Amanda Kondau of Malawi. It's their second Commonwealth Games. She did run a personal best in the 100 of 12.3 earlier on. Elma Cisse of Sierra Leone in the 100 as well. And here is Gross of Australia. 22.90 this season, 22.73 her lifetime best. Imani Kinnon of Montserrat will go in lane 5. She DQ'd in the 400 metres for a lane infringement, so going again here over half a lap. Asila Apkut of Papua New Guinea will go in lane 4. Nyasha Harris of Belize will go in lane 3, 24.93 her best performance. Mamakoli Sanani of Lesotho will go in lane 2, so national record holder with 23.63. And Millicent Ndoro of Kenya, she's their national record holder, ran 22.91 in the semi-finals of the Kenyan Championships. She finds herself in lane 1, so Ndoro is going to have to run a very tough bend here, very tight, fast bend to get herself in contention with the likes of Mia Gross and Imani Kernon. A little bit further out. And these athletes are seeded by their season's best, and then once they're in a heat, it is a random lane assignment in the first round. And that does leave Ndoro of Kenya in lane 1.
Set.
And they're away cleanly here in the second heat of the women's 200 metres. No automatic qualifiers, you can only advance on time. 23.25, the fastest time so far. De Freitas winning the first heat. Mia Gross has had a fantastic bend here, the Australian. Ndoro trying to find something in the last 50 metres. It's these two as they go into the closing stages. And Gross just staying ahead, 23.21. So that's the fastest time we've seen, just by a few hundredths. And Mia Gross looks pretty chuffed with that. And I think Ndoro, Danny, from lane 1, that's a really, really good effort from the Kenyan.
It is a good effort, and it was very unfortunate for her to be drawn in lane 1 and also having Mia so far out in lane 6. But she really executed it well, and it was in the latter stage of the race she really started to pull back. But Mia Gross ran such a fantastic bend and then transitioned into the straight. That was a really, really good performance for her. But of course, none of these athletes are secure yet. They've got to wait for the rest of these heats to unfold.
And Gross, you can see, there's quite a lot of strapping going on her back, perhaps. And they're choosing to run in leggings as well, staying as warm as possible. It makes it look colder than it is. It is only just underneath 20 degrees centigrade. Gross. And I love the commitment there from the Australian, running every inch of the race, going for a dip, because she knows that time will count. And 23.21 at the moment has her fastest, and Millicent Ndoro 23.45. That puts her kind of 4th fastest. But with 6 heats to go and 17 time qualifiers, we'll just leave it a couple of heats until we get a better idea of really who might make that cut into tomorrow's semi-final. What a sight. I think the crowd are going to be incredibly excited to see this man arriving at the stadium.
They are indeed, yes. The man of the moment, the newly crowned world mile record holder. 12 days ago was the London Diamond League, the Saturday before last. Josh Kerr, darling of Scottish sport, never mind about Scottish athletics, darling of UK athletics and maybe of world athletics, because that 3:42 mile at the London Stadium 12 days ago, a new world record, something he'd predicted coming up in those mile heats. They are at 10 past the hour in about 15 minutes local time.
And I love that the officials treating everybody the same, making Josh Kerr take his sunglasses off and match his accreditation photo, even though I'm not sure there's any of the officials or volunteers in this building that wouldn't know what Josh Kerr looked like.
So, the penultimate heat of the women's 200 metres, 6 in total. This is heat 5. Lane 8 there is empty, I think. There was nobody in lane 8, but there is Abby Galpin of Guernsey, semi-finalist of the last Commonwealth Games over 200 metres. 23.9, her lifetime best. Hasn't broken 24 this year. Magnifique Siwaze of Rwanda went down the 100 heats here. Holds the national record from her heat in the African Championships back in the middle of May. 24.47. There in lane 5 is the Nigerian Oluyinka Olajide. She's a 23.1 performer. That was a couple of years back now. And then the Jamaican, they're always strong. Lavanya Williams, second in the Jamaican Championships in a personal best of 22.44. That was Mohammed and Lawana Mohammed of Maldives. She goes in 3. And then Pereira, Shanti Veronica Pereira of Singapore, 23.26, her best this season. She went out in the heats of the World Championships 200 last year. She'd love to progress from these here. She went out in the heats of the 100 here. This is a better discipline, though, Pereira. She's in lane 2. Tough lane draw for the Singapore athlete, but she's a 22.5 performer. So watch that inside lane, Pereira of Singapore. Mohammed of Maldives goes in 3. Williams of Jamaica 4. Olajide, Nigeria 5. Umutezi Uwaze of Rwanda 6. Galpin in 7 for Guernsey. And O'Connor is a no-show on the outside in the empty lane 8.
Set.
Really good start there in lane 4 from Lavanya Williams of Jamaica. She probably leads at the moment. She's already gone past the Nigerian round the crown of the bend. Big lead being built here, although good running too from Pereira in lane 2 in that red strip for Singapore. Pereira challenging hard here, really working to get back at the Jamaican. This is a nice little battle. It's drawing them well clear of the rest, but it is the win for Williams there from Pereira. Third place for the Nigerian Olajide. And the winning time 22.91 with a tailwind of 0.8. That is quick. That's very quick indeed. Her lifetime best 22.44. That came in the warmth of Kingston back in middle of June. But that's a lovely run from Lavanya Williams. It was a nice lane draw, lane 4. She'll be delighted with that. Pereira, great run from her too, to push so hard for second place from lane 2. Williams 22.91, Pereira 23 seconds dead, has just run a massive season's best for that second spot.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen any of the women dip under 23 in these heats. But Williams gets a fantastic start, really, really strong start. But it's just coming off the bend that Pereira really transitions off the bend into the home straight. That's where she starts to close that gap up and give herself that 23 dead. And that massive lifetime, that massive season's performance. But Williams looks really smooth throughout the race. She gets a really good start, and then into the bend and the home straight. But it's Pereira coming off that bend for me. That's where she really started to close that gap up a little bit.
Well, she will be a factor, Lavanya Williams. Anybody's second in the Jamaican Championships. And look at this. Violetta Luca of Tuvalu treading on the line.
Amani Kinnon of Montserrat with 24.13. Helena Valletta Young of Fiji in lane 8. Alana Reid of Jamaica. She won their national championships in 22.29, new lifetime best this year. Chloe David of Vanuatu goes in lane 6. Frederic Chausson of Canada in 5, lifetime best 23.08. Asamene Simawaka of Malawi will go in lane 4. She's their national record holder at 22.91. That was a few years ago. Antonique Strawn of Bahamas goes in lane 3. She made the semi-final in this event back in the Gold Coast. Kelly Bentham of Barbados completes the lineup in lane 2. She ran a lifetime best a couple of weeks ago, Bentham. 23.25, but Alana Reid might have just seen her teammate Lavanya Williams run the fastest time of the morning so far at 22.91.
Set.
And they're away here. It's a strong start from the Jamaican in lane 7. Alana Reid already outside Valletta Young, has flown past the Fijian. Alana Reid going very well into the straight here. I wonder if she'll just start to cruise through the last 50 to win the Jamaican national title over this event. Means you're seriously good, and she's going to become our second athlete to go under 23 seconds. 22.94 for Reid. Just slower than her teammate, but second fastest of the day. And a good run from the Canadian Chasson on her inside.
That was a great performance from Alana Reid, wasn't it? And she looked like she still had more in the tank as well. Coming into those closing stages of the race, she wasn't necessarily looking like she was shutting down, but she also didn't look like she was fighting to get across that line. So she looks like she's got more to offer. That was a great performance by her. The Chasson from Canada as well. Fantastic for her. Just 2 lanes inside. She would have had Reid in her sight. She would have had her around the bend. And as they transition into the home straight, see Chasson working quite hard, just working all the way through to the finish. But Reid just looks really comfortable.
It does. There was close packing behind from Anthony Strawn and from Simwaka of Malawi. Remember that at final time qualifying spot was with Bentham 23.96, and I think Bentham would have been nudged out of those spots. But you're right, Danny, Reid looking very relaxed, very composed. The title was won last time we had this championships by Elaine Thompson-Herah. She did the double, the 100-200 double in Birmingham at the Commonwealth Games, so it'll be good footsteps to follow in for anyone, but particularly the Jamaican women.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. I really hope you watched the full race, and the women's 200-meter heats delivered exactly what fans were hoping for: speed, drama, and outstanding performance, because there were no automatic qualifying places based on finishing position. Every athlete knew that the stopwatch was their biggest opponent. Every hundredth of a second mattered. The opening heat immediately set the tone for the competition. Athletes came out aggressively, knowing they could not afford to relax. Beyonce, the first of the British Virgin Islands, produced a controlled and confident performance to win the heat in 23.25 seconds. She looked composed from start to finish, stayed relaxed around the bend, and finished strongly to put herself in an excellent position. Scotland Alison Bell also impressed. Running from an inside lane is never easy in the 200 meters because the bend feels much tighter, but she handled the challenge brilliantly. She stayed patient, accelerated well into the straight, and produced one of the best performances of the season. Unfortunately, one of the biggest talking points from the opening heat wasn't about who won. It's about the disqualification of Gambian athletics after a lane infringement. It was a painful reminder that sprinting isn't just about speed. Athletes must also stay within their lane from start to finish. One small mistake can erase months of preparation in just a few seconds. The second heat raised the standard even higher. Australia's Mia Gross looked outstanding around the bend. Her acceleration was smooth, her technique remained under control, and she carried that momentum all the way to the finish line. She crossed fast in 23.21 seconds, making her fastest athlete at that stage of the competition. One performance that also stood out came from Kenyan Millicent Aduro. Starting in lane 1 is one of the most difficult assignments in the 200 meters because the bend is extremely tight, but she handled it remarkably well. She stayed composed and finished strongly, showing that she could be a serious contender in the rounds ahead. Then came the moment Jamaican fans had been waiting for. Laveina Williams stepped into the track looking confident, and from the moment the gun fired, she took complete control of the race. Her start was excellent. She attacked the bend aggressively, and by the time the athletes entered the home straight, she had already built a comfortable advantage. What impressed the most wasn't just the winning time of 22.91 seconds. It was how relaxed she looked throughout the race. She wasn't straining, she wasn't panicking, and she never looked under pressure. That's usually a sign that an athlete still has another level to reach in the later rounds. Singapore Veronica Pereira also deserved plenty of credit. Despite running from one inside lane, she finished strongly and recorded a season best performance. She kept chasing all the way to the line and she rewarded with one of her best races of the year. Then another Jamaican star arrived. Alana Reid entered a heat carrying plenty of expectation. After winning the Jamaica national title earlier in the season, she showed exactly why she's regarded as one of the brightest young sprinter in the world. Her start was explosive, her bend was technically excellent, and once she entered the straight, there was never any doubt about the result. Reid crossed the finish line in 22.94 seconds, becoming the second Jamaica woman to break the 23-second barrier during the heats. The most exciting part was she never looked like she was at maximum effort. She remained relaxed, controlled her stride beautifully, and finished looking as though she still had more left in reverse. That is exactly what coaches want to see during qualifying rounds. Canada also had a strong race, with the athletes producing a solid finish to move herself into qualification contention. Across all the heats, athletics from different nations showed just how competitive women's sprinting has become at the Commonwealth Games. Looking at the overall picture, Jamaica made the biggest statement of the session, having two athletes comfortably run under 23 seconds while still looking relaxed sent a clear warning to every other country. They didn't simply qualify, they showed they are capable of competing for medals. Australia also looked dangerous thanks to Mia Gross, while Kenya demonstrated that they cannot be overlooked after such a determined performance despite difficult lane draw. As we move toward the semi-final, the pressure will increase. There will be no easy race from this point forward. Athletes will have to balance speed with small race, especially because everyone will now be chasing place in the final. And if these heats are anything to judge by, the women 200 meters could become one of the most exciting events in the entire Commonwealth Games. Jamaica has laid down an early marker. Australia has answered the challenge, and several other nations have shown they are ready to fight for every position. The semi-final promise to be faster. The competition will become even tougher, and the battle for medals is only just beginning. Athletes, fans should definitely stay tuned because the best race is still ahead. So guys, we've all seen how this team or how this athletics they are or they want to get this chance. They are really chasing it with their full passion. So guys, let me just know what you think in the comment section. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. Like, share. I will see you in the next clip. Be blessed whenever you are.